A couple of weeks ago, I stood here in this parliament in a debate, not on state of emergency, but I told the country, through you, Mr. Speaker, that we are not living in normal times. And therefore, given the state of affairs in Trinidad and Tobago today, decisions ought to be taken having regard to the state of affairs in Trinidad and Tobago. And the debate had to do with a very senior member of the National Security Service going and out of the country. And I made reference to the fact that because we exist in a state of emergency and that we are not existing and operating in normal times, the government needs to operate in a way to demonstrate to the country that it is serious about managing the affairs of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And by so doing, Mr. Speaker, the spokespersons of the government must observe and must recognize that every word that comes from their mouth is being scrutinized not only here in Trinidad and Tobago, but in the region and in the world. And this is not no joking matter. Governance is not no joking matter. It is not. It is not no joking matter. And when your Minister of Homeland Security could come in front no other place than in your Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago, Mr. Speaker, to blow into a bag, it tells you who and what we have in this country. It tells you. Because, Mr. Speaker, they are unprepared and they are not serious about governance in Trinidad and Tobago. And they will never be. They will never be. A bunch of jokers, all of them, unprepared for governance and will not settle down to govern the people of Trinidad and Tobago. They will not settle down. And Mr. Speaker, I'm not speaking to no blowback ways. I'm sure you're not entering into this debate.
That's enough. That's enough. That's enough. You see, you pound this and you dish it out. But when you get it back, you complain. So that's enough. Let's move on.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for your guidance. Mr. Speaker, I am well capable of defending myself. From all of them. All of them. Including, Mr. Speaker, those that are on macaroni pie therapy. Mr. Speaker, when I saw my colleague from Tabakit entered into this debate, I thought my colleague, who is the Minister of Foreign Affairs in this country, CARICOM and Foreign Affairs in this country, would have taken the opportunity to speak clearly to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Because as we speak right now, Mr. Speaker, there are news outlets in the region and in the world speaking about the state of national security and security issues in this country. We exist in this ecosystem in this world. And if the government, through its spokespersons, is not prepared to speak clearly to the citizens, you cannot blame them from getting their information from other news outlets, Mr. Speaker. The government has a responsibility to speak to the people of Trinidad and Tobago, who at this point in time, Mr. Speaker, is living under constant fear. Constant fear, Mr. Speaker, as we entered into this parliament here this afternoon, Mr. Speaker. Pandemonium in Port of Spain. Businesses are emptying. People are asking to go home. Traffic gridlock all over. Schools, parents are calling for their children, Mr. Speaker. This is the state of affairs in Trinidad and Tobago. And if you don't know, it means that you are unprepared to govern this country. You're unprepared. And you can say what you want. These are the affairs and the circumstances that exist in this country today when we are debating, Mr. Speaker, an extension of a state of emergency. These are not normal times. These are serious times, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, I am very disappointed in my colleague from Tabakit, who wasted his time and did not appease the fears of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Wasted his time. Mr. Speaker, I tell you what, because you see, whilst they are busy trying to tell people one thing, and we observe what is taking place in the region and around Trinidad and Tobago, we know this is not normal times. We are not foolish people. We are educated people. We are the children of Dr. Eric Williams, who are educated. And Mr. Speaker, I tell you this, when you go on a platform and you speak to the people in a way where the people know that you are taking them for fools, Mr. Speaker, you are undermining your credibility. You're undermining your credibility because, Mr. Speaker, during urgent questions today, I pose a very serious question. Mr. Speaker.
We are going to get to the issue before the House at some point in time. I've given you 7 minutes of leeway all around. So we're going to get to the issue at some point in time. You're going to thank you. And I need hardly remind you that the public interest was invoked on that question.
I'm going to deal with that, Mr. Speaker. That's what I plan to do. I'm not taking issue with what the member for Toko Sangirandi did by invoking 27(1)G. That is his right. And he will continue to do so. But the point I am making, Mr. Speaker, is that the country is on edge as we speak. It is on edge as we speak. Because, Mr. Speaker, I can tell you, and that's the point I am making, because the member for Tabakit stood up for a couple of minutes, perhaps a half an hour, and he tried his best. He tried his best, Mr. Speaker, to water down, and I would not say mislead, but the country is listening, Mr. Speaker. These are very serious times, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, let me read out a very important memo that is dated October the 1st to support what I am saying with respect to the unease in this country as we debate the extension of a state of emergency. A memorandum from the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. October the 31st. Friday, today, that's what I'm saying, sorry. October the 31st, thank you. From the Deputy Commissioner of Police Administration and Operational Support, Mr. Speaker, to all heads of section, units and division of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, dated Friday the 31st of October 2025. Immediate subject, immediate suspension of leave. Reference is made to the caption. Please inform all officers under your command that all leave is restricted with immediate effect from Friday the 31st of October 2025 until further notice. Please be guided accordingly. Signed by Mr. Junior Benjamin, Deputy Commissioner of Police Administration and Support in Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. These are serious issues. On the day we are debating the extension of a state of emergency, and members opposite are busy trying to tell people in this country that everything is all right, go about your business.
Calm.
Things are calm. We're not foolish. And if you continue to operate so, people will not take you seriously. And it shows that you're unprepared to govern this country. You're unprepared. And you will never be prepared neither. Mr. Speaker, on July the 28th, this Parliament was convened in an extraordinary sitting. When we woke up a morning and we found out that a state of emergency was declared in Trinidad and Tobago. A couple of days after, we were summoned here before the expiration of the 15 days to extend the state of emergency. We came here during this debate. Motion moved by the government to discuss the proclamation by the President. Mr. Speaker, I was one of the members speaking on this side of this House, on this extension, this state of emergency. And we told the government that given what the President has said in her proclamation, and I am going to remind the country of what was said in the proclamation and in the statement, and we told the country that these are very serious matters raised in this proclamation. These are very serious matters raised by the President in her statement. And on the vote, on the conclusion of the debate, the PNM, all members of the PNM voted in support of the state of emergency because we said that we will support law enforcement to protect the people of Trinidad and Tobago. So when colleagues opposite could come here this afternoon and make a case to pretend as though the PNM will not support law enforcement, nothing is further from the truth. Nothing is further from the truth, Mr. Speaker. Because at our vote, we supported the government because these are very serious matters raised in the proclamation. And let me, because you see, I realize this debate has gone down the road. It has lost its way about how much operations and how much murders and all these kind of things. Yes, very important, Mr. Speaker. But this is not the anchor of this debate. And for this state of emergency, this is an extension of a state of emergency that was called under specific circumstances when it was declared in July of this year. And I want to remind the people of Trinidad and Tobago, the first person to speak on that state of emergency was the Commissioner of Police to the nation. Because days before the proclamation of this state of emergency, Mr. Speaker, the Commissioner of Police and the Minister of Homeland Security told the country that crime was under control. That crime was under control. And when this state of emergency was declared, the Commissioner of Police reminded the country, after he was questioned over and over again by the national media, whether this state of emergency had anything to do with the suppression of crime in Trinidad and Tobago, and he said it had absolutely nothing to do with the suppression of crime in Trinidad and Tobago. It was called to deal with a specific threat. So therefore, when members opposite are busying themselves, trying to talk about statistics and reduction and this and that and what have you, it does not appease my mind, Mr. Speaker. It has nothing to do with a state of emergency that was called to deal with a specific threat. And I sat here, I came to this parliament, waiting to hear from the Honorable Attorney General and members opposite what is the state of affairs with the threat, which was the anchor and the basis for the state of public emergency in Trinidad and Tobago. I want to remind this country, of the statement by Her Excellency, statement of the President, setting out the specific grounds on which the decision to declare the existence of a state of public emergency in Trinidad and Tobago. Cabinet, and I quote, Cabinet informed that the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service Intelligence has informed the Minister of National Security, whom I understand to be the Minister of Homeland Security, who has in turn informed the National Security Council that the criminal gangs in the island of Trinidad and possibly in Tobago are likely to increase acts of violence on a scale so extensive that it threatens persons and will endanger public safety. Persons already incarcerated are actively engaged in coordinated acts of violence that target the state and state actors. Cabinet informed that accordingly, the National Security Council is of the view that it is necessary to take immediate action. And the Attorney General is of the view that such immediate steps must be taken to advise me, the President, to declare that a state of emergency exists in Trinidad and Tobago. Having considered the information provided and given the above premises, I was satisfied that action has been taken or is immediately threatened by any person of such a nature and on so extensive a scale as to be likely to endanger the public safety to the extent that warranted a declaration of a state of emergency in Trinidad and Tobago. These were the circumstances under which we were brought here for a declaration of the state of emergency. Had nothing to do with the amount of murders taking place in this country. Had nothing to do with gangs and what have you. Specific threats. And the Commissioner of Police tried over and over again to tell us that this has nothing to do with crime and criminality in Trinidad and Tobago. it was called to deal with those threats because the lives of public officials in Trinidad and Tobago were at risk had we not made this intervention. So do not be distracted by anyone, especially government spokesperson, who will come here and read all kinds of statistics, which obviously is a consequence of when you call any state of emergency. It happened in COVID. It happened in COVID. It happened when the previous government called a state of emergency. There are natural consequences of when you call a state of emergency, but it must not be the justification for the calling of a state of emergency in Trinidad and Tobago. It must be immediate. It must be immediate, and it must demonstrate that it is the only way to protect the lives of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And that is the reason why we, 12 and 13 of us on this side, said that we are going to support the government. We are going to side with law enforcement and give them the necessary legislative tool to make sure that this threat is neutralized so that the state can be preserved. That is the reason why we supported it. So don't come here today and say that the PNM will not support us. Very disappointed in the Attorney General when he said in his statement to have making reference to the opposition that, you know, you're going to respond to us in your regurgitated rhetoric. Mr. Attorney General, we supported the state of emergency. We supported the state of emergency. Go back to the Hansard, Mr. Attorney General, go back to the Hansard, and you will see that we on this side supported the state of emergency because we believe what the police were telling the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and we said that we will give you and we will support the declaration of a state of emergency so that you can deal with the specific threats. Mr. Speaker, the Attorney General said nothing about the state of affairs in this country. It's very serious matters. Members of the judiciary, members of law enforcement, members of the DPP, their lives are being placed at risk. And this government must show the courtesy and the respect for members of the opposition and the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. Give us a full account on these threats and whether they exist. Give us. And if they do exist, we are prepared to support you. If they do exist, but you said absolutely nothing on these matters. Because no responsible legislator, no responsible member of parliament will come here, Mr. Speaker, and not support a state of emergency that was called to protect the lives of high public officials in this country. None of us. And that is the reason why I took my time at the start of my contribution to warn members of the government that you are now lacking in credibility and the people are no longer taking you seriously. Because whilst you are busy trying to tell the people of this country that we are operating in normal circumstances, go about your lives normal, you have members of the police service, the leadership of the police service suspending leave and calling out officers because they are not living in normal times. And it's the same thing for members of the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force. We are not living in normal time in this country. And be transparent, come forward, speak to the people, take the people in your confidence. You are the leaders, speak to the people with confidence. And when there is a vacuum of information, you leave room for mischief, Mr. Speaker. This country is lacking in leadership, and there's a vacuum of leadership in this country. There's a vacuum of leadership in this country, lacking in credibility. Tell us the reason why you call this state of emergency. When we were called to this extraordinary sitting of the parliament, tell us what is the present status of these matters. Tell us what it is about. But Mr. Speaker, things got very worse, you know. It got worse since the state of emergency was declared, you know, Mr. Speaker. Because during that time, the Attorney General or the Commissioner of Police said that there was no threat to the lives of public officials, or rather politicians. That's what the Commissioner of Police told us. But 2 hours after, The Attorney General, speaking to the people of Trinidad and Tobago, told the media, well, if it wasn't, meaning the state of emergency, if it wasn't successful, the building, or basically saying that, that there were some rocket launchers that could have destroyed the Attorney General's office. But because he was standing there speaking to the people of Trinidad and Tobago, the state of emergency was successful. Paraphrasing what he's saying. The mere fact that I'm talking to you, that's what he said. The mere fact that I'm talking to you, it shows that the state of emergency is successful. Conflicting what the Commissioner of Police told the country hours ago, because the Commissioner of Police said that there were no threats to any politician. Undermining credibility, Mr. Speaker. That's the point. And when you lack credibility, the people will not believe anything that you say. And you had the opportunity here today to speak clearly to the people of Trinidad and Tobago in the midst of mayhem, bacchanal, and pandemonium, and again you fail on that grade as well. Fail on that grade. Mr. Speaker, the Attorney General spoke and he made reference to Jamaica and the use of states of emergencies in Jamaica to deal with gangs, gang violence, and what have you. But I thought that the Attorney General would have made reference to a very recent decision in the courts of Jamaica that literally said or struck down the use of state of emergencies to fight crime. Because you see, 1 minute it is to deal with a specific threat and not to fight crime, and another minute you boast and say, well, it is reducing crime. You can't have it both ways. You cannot speak. How much size of your mouth you will speak to the people of Trinidad and Tobago? We are not fools. Speak clearly and speak with confidence and speak truthfully to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And in 6 months, your credibility has gone to zero.
A half a minute plus your 15 minutes.